We'll go ahead and get started. Today we'll be reviewing the action items that will be formally addressed next Tuesday, December 16th at 6 p.m. right here at City Hall. Deputy City Manager Lance Schweitzer will lead us through those action items. Lance?
Thank you, Mayor. Looks like we have a mix of consent agenda, old business, and new business, so 18 items in all. And we'll endeavor to move through these items as quickly as we can. First item on the consent agenda is Resolution R25-222, resolution acknowledging receipt of the City of Hot Springs financial statements for October 2025, and we have Karen Scott, our Finance Director, presenting.
Good afternoon. The monthly financial statements are issued to keep city management and citizens apprised of the financial condition of the City of Hot Springs. The October 2025 financial statements will be provided as an attachment in your BARF, and staff recommends acknowledging receipt of the October 2025 financial statements.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The next item on consent agenda is consider resolution R25-223, a resolution adopting the City of Hot Springs Safe Streets and Roads for All Safety Action Plan. And we have Mike Hill, Assistant City Engineer.
Afternoon. Staff recommends to approve the SS4A Safety Action Plan developed through an SS4A planning grant. Adoption qualifies the city to pursue future SS4A implementation grants and other roadway safety funding. The Safety Action Plan was prepared by Kimberly Horn with city staff, the Safety Action Plan Advisory Committee, and FHWA. It identifies crash patterns, high-risk corridors, and priority projects to reduce fatal and serious injury crashes, targeting a 40% reduction by 2040 and 0 by 2050. The plan follows the FHWA Safe System approach and is supported by the new public-facing Hot Springs Safety Dashboard, which displays the high injury network, interactive crash data, recommended projects, pavement map by year, pavement condition, and progress tracking. Key findings in the plan include an 86% of severe crashes occur in 10% of the city roads. Intersections and roadway departures are the major contributors. Public concerns focused on pedestrian, bicycle safety, and visibility. Plan adoption would demonstrate the city's commitment to implementing safety improvements and maintaining transparency, and the plan will be used to pursue funding for safety improvements throughout the city. Are there any
questions of Mike? Director Garcia, could hardly see you over there.
Thank you, Mayor. Was this the based on the presentation we had?
Yes. We had a working group,
Okay.
session on
And
that.
will our packet include the recommended projects?
Yes, it will.
I did receive a lot of feedback about that presentation regarding the roundabouts that they had recommended.
Well, there are some recommendations in there. But the city itself will actually pick what we implement. They're going to pick what's possible. In those cases, a lot of times the right-of-way acquisition makes those impractical.
So specific projects that are included in here do not include that.
Well, there are some recommendations for roundabouts, but that won't be what we have to do. We're not tied to doing those recommendations. Those things in there allow us to pick and choose what we want to pursue.
And that will be laid out in
Yes,
our
all the
bar.
plans are in there. There's like 11 different recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions?
Do you have any questions?
Any additional? Director Webb?
Thank you, Mayor. Questions answered, asked and answered.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mike.
Same thing.
Okay, next item is consider resolution R25-224. This is a resolution extending an agreement with High Impact Movement pursuant to ACA 1458-104-18 for life skills and educational youth program. And I'll handle this one, Mayor. This particular item comes to you as a contract extension. City of Hot Springs has been in partnership with the High Impact Movement, and we do have several of the board members here in attendance as well. I appreciate their attendance. Really since the beginning of High Impact Movement 6 years ago now, and the contract is in the amount of $125,000. This was budgeted in your 2026 annual budget. This high impact movement, it is an after school and summer enrichment program offering for K through 12 students, and they are housed there at the former Boys and Girls Club there on Belding Street. The high impact movement itself, it provides a lot of different aspects from employability, workforce training. It also does academic enrichment. It does provides recreational pursuits for those attendees as well. There has been some turnover in the organization. Mr. Amos and Carol Gray have exited, and we do have a new executive director, Gina Rockwell, that will be heading up this program. And as I said previously, this is an extension of an existing agreement, and there's quite a bit of information that will be in your packet, the financials, some additional information on the board, etc. But I do believe we have Mr. Atkins here. He's board chair if you have any questions additionally.
Brett, is there any additional information you want to provide for us at this time? I mean, this will be on the consent agenda next Tuesday, so there won't be generally any further comment after today.
I'd like to see it on new business.
Okay, that's fine. We'll move it down to the first item of new business. Any comments you want to make? You're all rolling and going?
Yeah, Gina's a fantastic lady to run the program, and so we're excited about having her on the team and elevating the program.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay.
So that'll be the first item on new business.
Yes, sir. Okay, moving along, the next item on consent agenda is consider resolution R-25-225, and this is a resolution ratifying the appointments of Mr. Wayne Smith and Miss Elizabeth Ferris to the Hot Springs Advertising and Promotion Commission, and Harmony Morrissey, our city clerk, will present.
Thank you. These two positions on the A&P Commission expire at the end of 2025. Those are positions 5 and 7. The A&P did advertise those and received 3 applications for position 5 and 4 applications for position 7. Position 5 is currently held by Mr. Wayne Smith and expires at the end of this year. That position is to be filled by an owner or manager of a business in the tourism industry. Mr. Smith does reside in Hot Springs and is the general manager of Oaklawn. Position 7 is currently held by Elizabeth Ferris and expires at the end of this year. That's the at-large position to be filled by a city resident. So at their December 1st meeting, the A&P Commission considered the applications, interviewed applicants, and voted to reappoint Mr. Smith to position 5 and Ms. Ferris to the at-large position 7. Now they're requesting board approval for those appointments.
Any questions of Ms. Harmony? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay. Moving along, next item is consider resolution R-25-226, a resolution approving a substantial amendment to the Community Development Block Grant for FY23, FY24, and FY25 annual action plans to repurpose $158,164.78 in total funds and for other purposes. And we have Kathy Selman, our Planning and Development Director.
Thank you. The City of Hot Springs is a community development block grant, that's CDBG, entitlement community under the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, HUD, and is required to submit annual action plans describing how CDBG funds will be used. When a project scope, budget, or funding priorities change, 24 CFR 91-505A requires a substantial amendment. The 2025 substantial amendment reallocates $158,164.78 from activities completed under budget, returned by subrecipients, or unable to proceed. Reallocated funds support eligible community development activities benefiting low to moderate income residents. These reallocations help advance projects that have already existing CDBG balances These are required to be expended by April 2026 to maintain the city's compliance with HUD's timeliness test and respond to subrecipient needs identified during Community Development Advisory Committee discussions, including increased construction cost and requests to complete originally proposed scopes. A 30-day public comment period is being held from November 7th to December 11th, 2025, with notices published in the Sentinel Record on November 11th and 16th, and the amendment has been made available online and in hard copy in the Planning and Development Office. No written comments have been received to date. Any that are received will be incorporated into the substantial amendment. The Community Development Advisory Committee held a duly advertised public hearing on November 6th, 2025, heard from subrecipients regarding increased cost and project needs, and voted to recommend approval of the FY 2023 to 2025 substantial amendment and the proposed reallocations to the Board of Directors. And the applications involved will be included in your packet so that you can see exactly what is going on.
Any questions of Ms. Selman? Director Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. Kathy, will that include the reallocations?
Yes.
Not just where the money's coming from, but where it's
Yes.
going to be placed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Those both will be in there. Both of those sets of figures appear in the board action request itself and in the resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Director Garcia?
Thank you, Mayor. Is some of this a reallocation from projects that cannot be done?
Yes.
And is that something that going forward we can look at? We continue to have projects that they can't be done, and it delays those funds being utilized and projects getting off the ground. And I don't know if that's some type of direction that we should talk about, but I personally would like to be able to see those funds utilized in a more efficient and expedient manner, because when they're delayed, costs keep going up. We don't get as much bang for our buck.
That's correct. And I think that you will be delighted at the changes that we are making to the program for the upcoming fiscal year. Sarah Delosier, our CDBG administrator, has spent a lot of hours finding best practices, and we will be implementing those in the application period that is to open soon.
Thank you. And I didn't even have a lead-in for that. That was.
I know.
Director Webb?
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Kathy, does this reappropriation affect the current list of projects that are being funded?
The current list, this is confusing because of our unusual federal situation in 2025. We still have, well, no, we just did get our sign off on the money for 2025, but here we are is December. 2025 has what, 3 more weeks. So those projects, to our knowledge, are still in play.
Okay.
We don't see any changes there. But now that we have that money, we're hoping that by the end of the week, we'll have agreements signed on 4 of those projects, and the environmental work underway so that those projects can really get moving.
Thank you.
Any additional? Director Trustee?
Thank you, Mayor. Kathy, I think you mentioned deadline to spend this money of April of &26.
Yes.
Is that for 23 and 24 and 25?
Well, yes, and
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Because what we have is one number that HUD looks at.
Okay.
HUD looks at what the amount of our most recent annual allocation was, and then they multiply that by 1.5, and if we have access to unspent funds that exceed that 1.5 number, we are at risk of losing the amount in the next year by the amount that we exceed the 1.5. So if we're 50,000 short of our spending goal, we could be looking at 50,000 less in our upcoming year funding
In 26.
in '26.
Okay.
So we desperately try, and almost always do, achieve that spending goal annually.
Great, thank you.
Any additional questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, your next item is consider resolution R25-227. This is a resolution approving a contract amendment to work order 23A 10991-3 between the City of Hot Springs and Garver LLC for professional services related to the taxiway reconstruction project at the Hot Springs Memorial Field Airport in the amount of $15,100. Airport Director Don Roulette will present.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the ongoing Taxiway Alpha Shift program that we've been working on. Back in September, we received some additional funding from the FAA, some discretionary funding, which allowed us to add some project tasks on there that we didn't have on there before. And in doing so, we're recommending the amendment of the contract for Garver for that $15,100, which is additional administrative and project oversight funds. That added on 10 days to the end of that phase one of the project. And those funds are covered by the FAA discretionary funds, so there's no local expense.
Any questions on this item? I guess I have one. Is what are the funds going to be spent on? You said you have an additional 15. What is there a component of a project that we're going to be able to implement? Or
We're working on phase one of the taxiway, and so that gives us some extra money that we didn't have when we first put it together. So we're going and working on another part of the taxiway and some sodding and stuff like that. And so this particular resolution is for Garver's oversight of the project for that extra 10 days. And they had oversight of the project, they had the administrative activities that they did and so forth.
okay. Anybody else have questions? Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, next item, consider resolution R25-228, resolution approving change order number 1 to the contract for project number 23A-10991 between the City of Hot Springs and Redstone Construction Group Incorporated for phase 1 of the reconstruction of taxiways A and B in the amount of $80,989. And again, Mr. Roulette.
Okay, this is the same project. The previous one was Garver for their professional services on that. This is with a contractor for the extra tasks that were added on. And again, it's still paid for by the FAA discretionary fund that we had received.
Okay, so the total discretionary funds, extra discretionary funds was in the neighborhood of, I guess, 86,000.
About that, yes, sir.
95.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is consider resolution R25-229, resolution extending a non-exclusive franchise agreement for the operation of a specialty transit service to Eugene L. Dunn, doing business as Circle Double D Carriage Company LLC, and our city clerk, Harmony Morrissey, will present.
Thank you. So the current franchise agreement with Circle Double D Carriage expires at the close of 2025. Mr. Dunn has expressed his desire to continue to operate for another year with no changes to the agreement. However, city staff is making recommendations for 2 small changes in the proposed agreement. The first one is the addition of a requirement that in the instance that animal waste is inadvertently deposited on the street, the operator will quickly and sanitarily remove the waste and eliminate any residual odors. That comes from some complaints, especially during the summer when they're in the equine stand for a long period of time. So that has been added because of those complaints. The second addition is that the operator maintains certain records. These include lease agreements, contracts, employment agreements, accident reports, or any other veterinary or other reports maintained in the course of business. Further, that they submit annual financial and ridership reports to the city to reflect total revenue, ridership, and expenses of the service. Those reports are to be submitted no later than January 31 of the year for the preceding year's operation. This is in addition that is basically going to align with requirements that were requested of the other franchise holder for specialty transportation permit, so that we're receiving the same kind of reporting from both of those. So if agreed, if approved, this agreement would take effect January 1 and expire December 31 of 2026.
Any questions of Harmony? Hearing none. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 9 on consent agenda, consider resolution R25-230. This is a resolution extending a non-exclusive franchise agreement for the operation of a specialty transit service to Jason Bennett, doing business as JJ's Pedicabs, and Harmony Morrissey will present again.
Thank you. So this is our other current permit holder for a specialty transit license. This too expires at the close of 2025. Mr. Bennett has expressed his desire to continue operating. He has requested a modification to the agreement that actually includes the Whittington Avenue area and then further down Central Avenue from downtown to Grand Avenue, not crossing Grand. HSPD has also made some additional requests in the proposed 2026 agreement. So those include requiring the bicycles and carts that are separate pieces of equipment to each be numbered and inspected annually. There is a portion that clarifies the fees for these licenses, since previously the license fee was based on the number of seats, passenger seats. The bicycle would not have any. So it's an additional $5 fee for that license. It requires the pedicab operators to obtain ID cards from the PD, which is similar to other transportation for hire permit holders in the city. There is also a requirement to retain and submit certain records, the same kind of records that I enumerated for the previous item. And then PD has requested to remove a portion of the area of operation that is Central Avenue around Oaklawn. He would still be able to operate in the area around Rockies and behind there, but not on Central Avenue itself. Those are all based on safety reasons. There is one additional requirement that operators are required to wear protective eye protection while operating the pedicabs. So those things have been added. There is a red line version of this agreement because there were several changes. So you can see those in red line form, and then there will be a clean copy in there for you as well. So again, if approved, this agreement would take effect January 1 and expire December 31 of 2026.
Any questions of Harmony? So essentially, I don't know what the frequency would have been for a ride down to Oaklawn from downtown, but going forward in 26, he'll have to use back streets if he's going to do that?
Well, I don't think that, my understanding of the way that his rides were set up is he would locate a pedicab in the Oaklawn area, and he might cross Central to pick them up at the Oaklawn facility itself and maybe go to some of the establishments in and around that area. I don't know that he had pedicabs moving from the downtown to the Oaklawn area, but But there were pedicabs that were allowed to be on Central Avenue, and so PD is kind of pushing that back a little bit so that he does stay on those side streets for passenger safety.
2 separate zones.
2 separate zones.
Very good. Any additional questions? Director Garcia?
Thank you. Have both of these owners reviewed this?
Yes, they have both had input in this. They have received copies of the proposed resolutions. I have heard back from one of them. I have not heard back from the other.
But they're, as far as you know, they're in agreement?
Yes, as far as I know.
Thank you.
And both are planning on being here at the meeting if there's any questions.
Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Ms. Harmony, just to kind of bring some clarity to it, the previous item, and that's talking about horses, right? And this one is bicycle,
Yes, sir.
so that there is that difference. And so that explains why there's some safety mechanisms coming in outside of it being central across from Oak Lawn.
Right, so, so these franchise agreements are basically, they're contracts that are created annually by the board. So you can add whatever requirements, conditions, and that's why PD had some input on issues that they see, that they wanted addressed.
Okay, thank you. And then those changes you were saying, we'll be able to clearly identify those because they'll be red marked?
Yes, sir.
And that's going to be kind of the differences between the two?
The pedicab agreement has been redlined, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay. Next item is consider resolution R25-231, resolution approving change order number 3 to the contract with Max Foot Construction Company Incorporated for additional work requested at the Davidson Drive wastewater treatment plant in the amount of $233,646. And we have Todd Pillar, engineering project manager, to present.
Thank you and good afternoon. As you know, Max Foot's been out working at the Davidson Drive wastewater plant for quite a while, and they will be there for quite a while. And they have found many existing pipelines and conduits that interfere with the Chris Engineer approved plans to put all these upgrades in. But while they're still here, they have the manpower and the equipment to do this work. And the compensation for them to do this is a lump sum amount of $233,646. And it will be funded out of the 449 board-approved wastewater bond fund.
Any questions of Todd? Director Webb?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So Todd, was this work originally, you mentioned they're already here and they can do it and Chris can too. Was this work originally meant for Chris Engineering, but now you're saying you want to pivot this work over to Max Foot?
No, sir. The Chris Engineer plans that Max Foot is using to build the project, there are so many things in Davidson Drive wastewater plant that we didn't know were there.
So this is additional work that goes along with Chris's plans?
Correct.
It wasn't in the original plan, but it's something that you just identified?
Correct.
Is this going to incur any kind of cost overrun with those funds from 449?
No, sir. No.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, just to clarify, we can't overrun 449. It is additional expense coming from that account in the amount of $233,646.
I'll rephrase my question.
Yeah.
You can't overrun what's already set. Would doing this change order take away other initiatives that 449 have in place? Like, because of us making this change order, is this going to prevent us from doing plans that were already intended for the 449 money to go towards?
No, sir. Karen Scott just gave me this nice spreadsheet, and we have grand total, all said and done, $2,766,079 in our balance.
So that's the balance, and then what's left to do? How does what's left to do correspond with the balance? Under, over, even?
Yeah, well, I have one more
Okay.
to bring to you.
I got you.
That's gonna
Okay.
come out of that account.
Yeah.
What we're
Mr. Carnahan.
saying there, Director Webb, is that at this point, with the projects that we've already committed to, we're ahead of our estimates by that amount, $2,766,000. So we're still ahead of the game by that amount at this point in spending the bond money.
Okay. Thank you.
Todd, provide me some clarity on yeah, Christian Engineers developed the plan and Foot is implementing the plan. They're the contractor. And in this period of their work, they're finding all these other lines. And I guess I don't know what you're saying. Are we abandoning those lines or just making the work go so much slower?
They're just having to move them.
Move all the lines. They're being relocated, but still will be in use.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yard water piping, electrical conduits.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mayor, if this were what they call, an open field project where everything was just pristine and you were putting it in the way that it is on paper, it would be one thing. Unfortunately, the things that are being put in are a part of things that are already in the ground, have been in the ground for some time, and when you uncover them, you find that the condition that's there is not it's not as good as you want them to do. You need to address it while you're there.
Very good. Director Trustee.
Thank you, Mayor. Todd, this additional work, will it be detailed as to what exactly they're doing and the time frame that they have to do this in?
Yes, it'll be in your
It'll be in a
board
packet.
Yep,
Yeah, I
it's in a
don't
chain.
need it now, so, thank
It'll be in
you.
your board packet.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Any additional questions? Hearing none. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to your next item, consider resolution R 25-232, resolution approving change order number 3 to the contract with Max Foot Construction Company LLC for additional work requested at the Gulfa Sewer Pump Station in the amount of $108,631. And Mr. Pillar will present again.
Yeah, Max Foot's not only working at Davidson Drive wastewater plant, they're doing our new Gulf pump station. But while they're there, we have, I'm gonna back up. We have a new 24-inch force main that goes to Davidson Drive that's fed by the old pump station. And then we have a 30-inch force main that Coakley put in and Diamond put in that's fed by the new pump station. But what we found is that the plug valves and the check valves at the old existing pump station are failing and need to be replaced. So again, since Max Foot's right there, staff decided that since they have the manpower and equipment, that we would allow them to do that work. And that change order, as Lance said, is $108,631. Again, this will come out of the wastewater board approved wastewater bond 449.
Any questions on this item? Thank you, Todd.
Okay, moving on to your next item is consider resolution R 25-233, resolution awarding a contract to Christ Engineers Incorporated for professional engineering services for the Davidson Drive wastewater treatment plant, dewatering and conveying improvements as work order number 13 of the master services agreement for wastewater services in the amount of $1,777,000. And we have both Todd Pillar and Gary Carnahan.
Yes,
here.
Todd put this bar together, but I wanted to just say that in this list of projects we have in the bond issue that we're talking about, the $68 million bond issue, one of the large elements in that program is this $14 million solids dewatering component. It's very complicated. It involves a lot of chemistry and specialty mechanical equipment. And it's going to be about a 3-year program to get the design completed, the permitting, and then the construction. It will take us about 3 years to do this. We had a rate and rank and selected Christ Engineers to design it, and they have submitted their 18-page contract with very detailed scope of what they're going to do for that amount of money. But it was so complicated, I asked Todd if we could have Craig Johnson, our consultant with Christ Engineers, come and just tell you a little bit more about the process, complexity of it, and his scope of work. So if you don't mind, we'll have Craig come to the microphone. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be before you. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to work for you and staff again on a very important and critical project, one project that's been discussed, I believe, starting back in 2018 or 2019. My name is Craig Johnson. I'm with Christ Engineers. I'm the vice president. When Gary asked me to speak about this, just to give you a short scenario of what the scope involves on the project is that, as you guys know, you've been composting for a long time. As part of that process is you take waste product from your waste activated sludge at your wastewater treatment plant, and you dewater that with a piece of equipment that has reached its useful life. In fact, it runs 24/7 all the time, and when that piece of equipment it goes down, we have nowhere to go with that waste. In fact, I believe in the last 6 months, Monty brought an emergency to you to be able to have a company come in and actually dewater when that piece of equipment went down. I don't know the exact number about that. Staff handled that. We helped him coordinate with some contractors, but we're just at a point where dewatering and the needs at the wastewater treatment plant are no longer viable, so it's time for a project. This project will involve touching several components of the work, the waste activated sludge pump station. We're going to store sludge on site in two tanks that we actually vacated as part of the work at Davidson. That was part of our master plan, and then we'll pump that up the hill to your compost facility, and we'll construct a new building there, and we'll have dewatering equipment. The staff has selected us to design around what we call a centrifuge piece of equipment that's a dewatering equipment that will use chemical or a conditioning chemical to be able to dewater the sludge, and then it will be continually be mixed into your product and compost and offer the same benefit as what it does to your constituents today. Some things that are a little bit different with this proposal, and you see in the packet when you get it, is that we have a very specific equipment procurement process. The equipment is a little bit more integrated piece of equipment that will use power, and it uses chemical, and we'll do an evaluated bid. That's a little bit different for you guys and how you set up your standard equipment. So you'll see that in the board packet and those materials. And we'll have to go to DEQ for a construction permit. We will not be modifying the NPDES permit, but we're still required to submit a construction permit. So those two items are a little bit different of something you typically don't see just in engineering services. But the proposal did include engineering, the procurement of the dewatering project, and there may be a few other pieces of equipment that we competitively procure and evaluate as part of that. The submission of the regulatory permit, which takes us a little bit of time to work through with DEQ, bidding award, and our construction administration services. So we worked with staff. We use some guidance documentation that's available through the American Society of Civil Engineers. We went through that with them to make sure that we were within that range for the work, and I believe that we satisfied staff that was acceptable as they brought the proposal before you today. We also provided comparisons to similar work that we've completed for you at Davidson, as well as other work that we've done in Wynn and Hot Springs Village recently.
Okay. Directors have any questions?
Yes, sir, it does. Yeah, the construction administration that just does include our services for that entire time period to administer the contract.
All right.
We will pre-select the equipment ahead of time to be able to. The equipment we're expecting that to be a 40 to 44-week lead item, and we'll actually move forward with the procurement of that. So we'll bring that to you separately once the bids have been evaluated, and we'll procure that equipment prior to actually our permit being issued to catch up on some time, which is very typical. We've done this in Paragould. We did it for Mr. Ledbetter as well as in Bryant, just as two recent projects where we did early procurement to catch up on schedule while our permit's being approved.
Thank you.
But the figure that we have here is only for your professional services. There's no contract, or, I mean, there's no construction or
That's correct.
implementation of the plan.
Yeah, this project's identified in your 2025 bond issuance. You have a number that you referenced to, but that's in the your bond issuance, your latest bond issuance on the wastewater fund. So it's set at 14 million, but right now with contingency, we're approaching this project a little differently. But with contingency, we're hopeful to bring in a project around $10.8 million. There's still a few procurement of services that will be outside our contract, one being geotechnical engineering. We don't know what that is right now, but the city typically procures those services separate from our professional services agreement.
Okay. Thank you. Any
Yes, sir.
questions? Directors have any questions? Hearing none? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving along. Item 13 on consent agenda. This is consider resolution R25-234, a resolution amending resolution 10372 regarding a $750,000 National Park Service Paul Brune Historic Revitalization Grant to benefit National Register listed structures in Hot Springs. And we have Kathy Selman, Planning and Development Director.
Thank you. The city board of directors adopted that resolution 10372 in 2024, authorizing the filing and acceptance of the National Park Service Paul Brune Revitalization Grant. The grant was awarded to the city in the amount of $750,000 to support a local sub-grant program to enable rehabilitation of National Register historic properties, and in our specific case, for the purpose of rehabilitating historic structures to provide affordable housing in support of Hot Springs housing strategy. The stated target areas for such rehabilitation are the Pleasant Street and Central Avenue historic districts. However, Resolution 10372 inadvertently limited the application to properties within the local historic districts. The grant is not so limited, and the actual application that was submitted and granted was not limited to local historic districts. The subsequent advertisement for proposals was not limited to properties within the local historic district. Thus, Resolution 10372 of 2024 should be amended to provide clarity to the sub-grant program and consistency with the grant guidelines, application, and award.
Any questions of Ms. Selman? Hearing none? Thank you.
Thank you. And is this a time to mention that the work session that we had scheduled is probably not necessary? And I know you have a busy afternoon scheduled, so we would suggest that we don't need to do that.
We had originally scheduled both items for your work session. I had an opportunity to have I think it was a 48-minute phone call with, with Kathy yesterday, and after I saw the light, I realized it's just a housekeeping issue. So there are no contracts, there's no awards or anything for you to consider at this point. This is just a matter of making sure that the resolution comports with the application and the grant that was actually received.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to our listed final item on consent agenda. Consider resolution R25-235, a resolution in support of revisiting the state-run federal surplus property program administered by the state of Arkansas, and I'll handle this one for you, Mayor. This item, for those that are not aware, the federal surplus property program, that is administered by the state of Arkansas. So those are federal properties, federal equipment that is surplus, no longer needed. It is eligible for cities, counties, towns, schools, and certain nonprofits. When you think nonprofits, think of volunteer fire departments. Currently, this program is being phased out as of now, and that the City of Hot Springs has utilized this program through multiple departments and several times that I'm aware of, and it's been a great benefit to the police department, public works, etc., street department. So it not only impacts larger cities such as ourselves, but also a lot of the smaller municipalities and volunteer fire departments. You may have seen this in the news media lately, with the program being phased out. Really what this is, it's a support resolution asking the state of Arkansas, the governor's office, to look at revisiting and bringing back this program. It has had some financial issues with it. It was operating at a loss to some degree, but you know, cities and counties and towns feel like this is something that is of a great benefit and outweighs that operational reduction in their budget. This has previously been administered, I believe, by the Department of Emergency Management, but it is now done by the Department of Public Safety, is where it's housed at. But really, this is just a support resolution. It was requested by the Arkansas Municipal League, I think through their executive committee, some of the other committees that they do have, requesting that all members not only pass a support resolution for the program, but also to reach out to your elected legislative officials.
All right. Any questions of Lance? Thank you.
Okay, now we're moving into your old business section. Item 15, for those keeping score, this is Resolution R-25-191, resolution declaring a certain structure located at 229 Bluff Street a nuisance and condemning same pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code. We have James Hardage, our Neighborhood Services Manager, here to present.
Thank you and good afternoon. 229 Bluff is a single-family residence located in District 1. This property originally came before the board on October 21st and was tabled to the December 16th meeting after Miss Adrienne Knowles requested time to have the ownership changed into her name. As of this morning, the county website still lists Herman and Flossie Knowles as the owners. I then called the assessor's office and verified that the information on the website was up to date, and they told me it was current. No additional work has been done at the structure since the October meeting. Due to the extent of the deterioration and the owner's inability to repair the structure and having no other alternative, we are still recommending that the structure be condemned and removed.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Hardage? Hearing none. Thank you.
Okay, your next item on old business, consider resolution R-25-192, a resolution declaring a certain structure located at 210 Walter Street a nuisance and condemning the same pursuant to Title 17 of the Hot Springs Code. Mr. Hardage.
And again, 210 Walter Street is a single-family residence located in District 1. As with the previous property, this one originally came before the board on October 21st and was tabled to the December 16th meeting after Miss Barbara Crom requested time to have the ownership changed into her name. And as of this morning, the county website still lists Ralph Williams and Louise Roma Williams as the owners. Again, the assessor's office verified this morning that the website is correct. No additional work has been done to the structure since the October meeting. However, records do show that Ms. Crom paid the property taxes on December 4th, and they are now current, where they had been delinquent at the previous meeting. Having no other alternative and due to the extent of the deterioration, the owner's inability to repair the structure, we are recommending that the structure be condemned and removed.
All right. Any questions on this item? The fact that the property tax was paid, I guess, and you said that just occurred December 4th?
Correct.
And we'll see if they pull out a building permit, because they wouldn't have been able to pull a building permit without taxes being paid.
Well, Ms. Crom was in the office one day, I believe, it wasn't last week, I believe it was week before, and spoke to Mike Scott, the chief building official, and explained that she couldn't get a permit because she still couldn't get it changed into her name. So she's unable to obtain permits until it's changed into her name.
And was there any clarification as to why she couldn't get it?
Not that I'm aware of, just that she was unable to do so.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions? Director Webb?
Questions asked and answered.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, hearing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is your first ordinance of the evening. Consider ordinance 02550. This is an ordinance calling a special election in the city of Hot Springs, Arkansas on the question of compensation for the Hot Springs Board of Directors and prescribing other matters related to, and our city attorney, Brian Albright.
Yeah, this is still in old business. This was brought to you at your last meeting, made it to the floor for discussion. After discussion, motion was made to table in light of the compensation questions. And so a work session has been scheduled immediately following this agenda meeting, at which time we will discuss that. But it will come back to you as old business, and therefore it will be in its original form. As a result of the work session, there may be some alternate format that may be coming to you for your consideration to replace, but it will continue to come to you as stated at your last meeting.
All right, any questions to Brian? Very good. Next item?
Okay, the listed next item on new business is consider ordinance 02551, an ordinance amending ordinance number 6534 pertaining to the City of Hot Springs Employee Parking Program, and amending ordinance number 6521 pertaining to the City of Hot Springs Downtown Resident Parking Program codified in Chapter 7, Title 10 of the Hot Springs Code, and for other purposes. And I'll handle this one, Mayor. That's a very long title, but I think I can summarize this pretty easily. What staff is proposing to do is to carry forward the no-fee residential and no-fee employee permit into 2026. So that'll give us time on December 30th to hold a work session with the board. Staff will present some fee options for the board to consider, and that will provide us ample time to have public discussion and dialogue, and also to have any of what the board may want to see in that permit fee structure actually calculated and put into that permit system. Our parking provider, IPS, provides a permit portal, if you will, and there is a little bit of programming that needs to go into that with any fee calculations. It's an online portal, but that's the recommendation of staff, is to carry forward those no fee residential and employee permit fees till February 28th. Now, obviously, if we get it accomplished and completed before then, we can bring it before you ahead of that, but we will hold a work session on December the 30th to consider these matters, and this will also provide us time to provide communication to the permit holders that they'll likely start getting very antsy come in the next few weeks, wanting to know how to renew and what that fee may be. So we'll be able to send out those this communication to them and let them know here's the proposed schedule. So that should provide some comfort to those permit fee holders.
Very good. Any questions on this? Director Trustee?
Thank you. So Lance, if they renew their permit, it would just be renewed through February 28th?
Correct. What we'll end up doing is holding all those existing permits until February 28th, in which during that time we hope to bring forth a fee structure that the board can adopt, and we can get that into the IPS system and then send all those permit holders this allow them to come in anew and renew those permits for whatever that fee structure may look like.
So the current permits expire, they don't expire 12/31?
They do not. We'll hold
Okay.
those forward.
Essentially, what you're doing is you are extending the expiration
Right.
date of your previous legislation until the end of February.
Okay.
And that's the same
And
with
that-
the employees?
Correct.
And that previous legislation, though, was through 12/31?
It was.
Of '25.
Yes.
So technically, they expire. We're just going to carry them over. With this extension, we're going to move that out 2 months.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any additional questions? Hearing none, this completes the review of the action items that will be formally addressed next Tuesday, December 16th. And again, we moved one item, R-25-224, from the consent agenda to the first item under new business. So at this time, we'll conclude the agenda meeting, and then we'll begin our work session shortly.